Well, the other misnomer about this war, of course, is that Hamas are terribly oppressed and they're just freedom fighters. Well, it turns out freedom fighters get paid pretty well. Check out this headline from, I think, the New York Post. Was it New York Post?
It was the New York Post.
Hamas leaders worth staggering $11 billion revel in luxury while Gaza's people suffer. Now, the Post goes on to report the three key leaders of Hamas together, worth a combined $11 billion, have amazing property holdings, not just through Gaza, but in other parts of the world. And you can see them relaxing in luxury there. So they
pays well.
They sit in Qatar, calling on Palestinians to become martyrs for the cause, while they live in 6-star hotels and fly on private jets all around the world. This is why they don't want peace, because if they actually have peace, these guys will be forced to govern.
Exactly.
And you don't make that much money governing, but you make a lot of money crying poor, going around the world collecting funds.
And also this billion-dollar lifestyle that they're living, it's not even according to the faith that they profess.
Of course not.
So here they are asking all these innocent Muslims, die for your faith, you're martyrs for the cause. Meanwhile, they're living it up, living the high life, alcohol, strippers, you name it, mate, everything's on the table. You're just asking all the actual devout Muslims who want no part in your war and trying to genocide Israel, asking them to lay down your lives, and you're just living it up. I mean, they are being played so big.
But the weird thing, speaking of being played, like what about Qatar, right? So they've got the leadership of Hamas living in Qatar and funded by Qatar. They've also got the major US military base in the Middle East in Qatar. I mean, talk about, contradictions.
Keep your friends close and your enemies close.
Well, speaking of the US military, we'll stick on military matters for a minute. But we've talked a fair bit here about the military, both here in Australia and in the US and the UK as well, going a bit woke. Well, it seems they might actually be turning the corner here a bit, because they've started to realise it's not actually working, and China is laughing at us the whole time. Just as a reminder, this is a previous ad that the US military has run to try and drive recruitment.
This is the story of a soldier who operates your nation's Patriot missile defense system. It begins in California, with a little girl raised by 2 moms. I also marched for equality. I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age.
She was raised by 2 mums because that's so important to operating missile defence systems. But you've seen that ad. Now watch this ad and tell me if you notice anything different.
Stand up!
Disgusting. There was not one girl raised by 2 mums in sight. I can't believe it.
It's almost like when you've actually got to go to war, sexual diversity isn't that important.
Who knew? But honestly, seeing this ad, I was like, okay, we're definitely going to war, because they just ran an ad with nobody but white, straight males. It's still a bit cringy. It's still a bit touchy-feely, the beautiful piano and landing in a field of... I remember we once played a Russian military recruitment ad, and they're all shirtless and doing drills, and there's heavy metal playing in the background. You'll get there, America.
I just love that first ad where she says, I've been fighting for freedom all my life, because she went to a pride parade.
Yeah. Well, kind of different on the front lines, love, but sign up anyway and we'll break it to you gently.
When we get to the papers shortly, we'll be talking about parents in South Australia who tomorrow, with Year 12 exams beginning, teachers have chosen that day of all days to go on strike. And Cairns Council, massive back down after banning fishing, but receiving huge backlash from the local community. It's nice to have a story about a council getting told the right thing by the public and actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. Before we get to that, though, let's talk quickly about drugs, because the Australian Criminal Intelligence Commission have reported that use of meth and coke in Australia is at an all-time high. An analysis of wastewater run by the ASIC, they have 55 wastewater sites capturing 14 million Australians. So this is 55% of the population. They've sampled and they've found for cocaine, Australians are consuming 6 doses per 1,000 people. That's an upswing from earlier periods despite fluctuations from month to month. And the use of cannabis is 180 doses per 1,000 people per day.
Hang on,
across
180
the last
doses
month
per 1,000 people per day. So what? Are we talking like a fifth of the population is walking around, driving
according to
around
the sewage reports?
every day?
Yeah.
Like, we are one of the...
That is so naive to think that just because people have a bit of pot, they're whacked. You clearly know absolutely no pot smokers.
Oh, here we go.
No, because that is actual nonsense.
Can I say I do know nothing about pot smoking?
Well, thank you. But that is actual nonsense. What we need to be concerned from these stats is the meth and the cocaine rates. I mean, that is unbelievable. That is concerning. And you go after the cannabis smokers. Do me a favour.
It's a lot of cannabis.
I'll just point out people.
All of this comes on the back of the ACT loosening their drug regulations.
I'll point out on the coke though. In Sydney, it's a 1,100 milligrams per 1,000 people. In Adelaide, it's 440 milligrams per 1,000 people, which is proof yet again that coke is God's way of telling you have too much money.